Okay, so this is the lesson for today. I'll be putting this up on YouTube. Be putting it up on the site just shortly. This is in the book. It's on page 34 and 35. So we want to learn about these two concepts here. I'll start with this one over here on this side. You can see that what we're dealing with is we're dealing with different angles and different, so this is kind of a new concept. I want to make sure you get all this. So angles are considered complementary to one another if their total angle, if you add them together, is 90 degrees, and they're considered supplementary if their total angle of degree is equal to 180. Okay, so in this situation here, obviously we would have angle CBD plus CBA, and that would be, the total angle would be DBA. All right, so in simplest terms, if you look at how this goes together, it's a complementary angle. CBD complements CBA, because the total of them, if you add them together, is going to be equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so what I did is I drew 90 degrees. I put this on a 35, so DBC or CBD is a 35-degree angle. So if I don't know what this one is, obviously it's just a math problem, of course. Okay, so then I have 90 degrees minus 35, 83. So that means that this angle here is then 55 degrees. Okay, make sure I put my stuff up there right. So it's a simple math problem, right? So I can figure out the complementary angle of this situation here. I can figure out what it is, and the critical issue is this concept of complementary. So an easy way to figure this out, or an easy way to remember this, is that C, the letter C, comes before the letter S, right? And 90 degrees comes before 180 on a compass. So that's one of the ways that you can remember this situation. So complementary angles are 90-degree angles. That's where it's at. Supplementary angles are supplementary. They're 180. They go to it. So the same thing, of course, applies to a supplementary angle, because then all I have to do is figure out, looks like I forgot one of my angles here. Let me make sure I've got this thing. Let's see, this was supposed to be P. There you go. PQRS, right? And so the entire line segment that we're talking about here, QS, is equal to 180 degrees. That's 100, it's a line. All right, so I can figure out what this is here, and then I can figure it out. I can figure from there. So PQR plus RQS is equal to 180 degrees, right? So then it's a simple math problem. I have 180 degrees minus what this angle here is, and just so you know, I put 30 degrees. So then I can subtract 30 degrees out of there, and then I end up, of course, with 150 degrees. That's this obtuse angle that we're dealing with here. All right, so when we're dealing with this geometry, the concept here is not so much the math, because it's just simple addition and subtraction, but it's remembering what we're dealing with. So when we talk about complementary angles, we know that what we're dealing with is we're dealing with everything in the 90-degree range. It's never going to be more than 90 degrees. Okay, and so that means that the two angles, whatever they are, have to add up to 90. Same on this side here, right? Okay, and of course now the deal here is that I could strike a perpendicular line here, and I'd have 90 on both sides, and it'd be 180. Okay, so be careful you get in this situation, because if you have a 90-degree angle up here, if you only deal with one, and you're only dealing with one angle, and there's nothing smaller than that to add together. Remember that the whole concept here is that we're dealing with 180 degrees. That straight line that goes across here. And of course, this line can be at any angle, and this angle is then off of this 180-degree line, and that's what makes it up there. So the reason why this is kind of a critical issue, the reason why we want to make sure we do this, is as we're going in and we're going further into our lesson, we're going to find out. See, I've kind of drawn these straight, but obviously not all of our problems and all of our geometric shapes are going to be straight, into the board, and they're going to be oriented in all kinds of different directions. So a simple example of that is that I can draw this same one here. I can draw that same angle like this. All right, and then let me get this on here, and I said that was 35. So I had the exact same situation. These are exactly the same, but as you can tell, obviously they're oriented differently. So the critical thing is that this is what indicates that I've got a 90-degree angle in this situation. And of course, the way that we did this here, this was 35, and what was then left on this situation was a 55-degree angle here, and that is exactly the same situation that we have here. I've got a 35-degree angle here, and I've got a 55-degree angle here. All right, so then the total of the two of these that are added together from this situation here, if you add those two together, obviously they're 90 degrees. Okay, so when we're going on and we're going through this, remember that the whole concept that we want to make sure that we grasp is the C90 S180 supplementary, complementary. They sound very similar, and this is gonna end up in your exercises, and it's going to end up on a test. So I want to make sure that you get those. So find a way to make sure that you grasp those ideas there. Okay. So this is as far as we're going to go today. On Monday we'll go a little bit farther into the lesson. If you don't have a protractor, you need to get one. If you don't have a compass, you need to get one, because we're going to be using them. We're going to be figuring out how all this stuff goes. So the lab and the exercise and the other lesson that we talked about, that's going to be a common thing. So we need to be able to figure out all these angles, and obviously I can't provide it to you because I'm here and you're there. So we'll figure it all out. So make sure that you look through this, look through the pages on the book. I'm not assigning any problems today, but there will be assignments for Monday when we're finished. So just want to make sure that you grasp these ideas. If you have any questions, I'll be online. I'll leave here around, I'm at my office, I'll leave here about noon, and then I'll be back at my house no later than 2 o'clock, so you can send it. You can just put a message underneath there. There's a channel specifically made for the math class that you and I do, so you can just put all your questions right straight through there, and then any assignments that you need to upload, you can upload them right to there. If you need to send anything to me, you can use my email address. I'll write it right here, make sure that you can see. Frank.Hansen at Freedom Maine. Those are actually supposed to be small. Sorry, Freedom Maine, like the state, .org. Okay, and I will have that. I check that all the time, and I've got a repository there where I can take all of your assignments and drop them in there. So send them to me as they become available, or as we do them, and then you'll have an opportunity to see them. All right, have a good weekend. Have a good day. Looks like it's going to be a fantastic rainy day out there for today, but maybe we'll get some sun throughout the week. Talk to you on Monday.